Good afternoon. Welcome. What a wonderful afternoon, and it is so wonderful to see so many of you, residents, families, friends, community members. This is just a dream come true for me. When I was in high school, I sang in choir, which was probably a mistake, but one of my favorite songs was "No Man is an Island." And the longer I've lived, the more I've come to appreciate the truth of that. For we are a large, diverse country, but we are all connected. And as the daughter of a Norwegian immigrant, I know that we have many, many different stories in our country. And the more that we know about different stories, the richer our experience, the richer and healthier our country is. So this is an opportunity to hear and understand some stories that may or may not be familiar to many of us. So I would like to, in addition to welcoming all of you and the people who are listening at home, I want to extend a very warm welcome to the Naimani Music Ensemble. Thank you.
Trusting in His holy word. He's never failed me yet. Oh, can't turn around. We've come this far by faith. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, leaning on the Lord. Keep on trusting in His holy word. He's never failed me yet. And I want to say, can't turn around. We've come this far by faith. Can't turn around. We've come this far by faith.
Hello, how we doing? All right. Yes, we do come this far by faith. And thank you for having us here. First, I want to thank Kirsten Kingdom for inviting us and all of you for being present. How's everybody doing? All right. I see everybody's with masks on. We have ours, but we're going to try to perform and keep our distance up here, and then we'll put them back on when we touch bases afterwards. I just want to give you a breakdown of what we're doing and try to anchor us here through this journey. We're going to talk about, and I'm sure you said that at the beginning, I couldn't hear from back there, but I'm sure you gave an introduction, what we're here, and trying to talk about the African experience in music as we journeyed and as we embarked on this travels and as we come to this country, and really our story has always been in our music, and it's something that I've been working on. I am a college professor, or a retired college professor. Thank you for all those times and years I did, but I think once a professor, always a professor, so I'm probably still lecturing and telling my journey. And that's what I want to do today. I want to share with you, and we all want to share with you through song and story about the journey of the African experience here in America. And I think music is such a great platform to do that. Since I've retired, last year I retired in June, the end of June, I've been embarking on a new journey. It's something I started several years back, but being closer to music as a healer or a sound healer. And I've been working on that, and I have a website out that I go to a lot and share with people, and it's called Healing in Music. And that's my new focus, to heal in music, to share my story with others, but also sometimes I get my crystal bowls out and do a lot of those things where people are humming and chanting and trying to deal with the frequencies and vibrations that make us a connected part. We also understand that our bodies are these temples, these vibrating frequencies. So a lot of times when you tie them with music, they really help us to tune and stay in contact. I think when I think of tuning, I'm always thinking about my car, how it always needs to be tuned to keep going. I think our bodies need the same kind of tuning. And if you use music to tune your bodies, it's really enlightful. A lot of times we use certain sounds or certain pitches, certain frequencies to enable us to find that pitch that helps us. Also, for me, when I share these things in workshops, I talk about certain organs that I go to that have certain sounds that help me to kind of deal with those feelings. You know, when I think about my lungs, I hear that sound. When I think about my kidneys, and because they're in my lower back, I'm always going that whoa sound, because if you have a back like mine, I think we've all been there where we hold our back and we go whoa, right? And it's really the sounds of Qigong, the 6 healing sounds that we go to. So I practice all those kind of meditative things and when I work. So this is our journey. Again, I have a book, I do have a book that I did several years back. It's called Spirit, Rhythm, and Story. And pretty much when I do these lecture presentations, I'm following that kind of outline. I'm starting with the spirit, talking about songs that really affect, I feel like all music has a spirit, rhythm, and story, but I'm gonna start with songs that I feel are focused more on that spirit context. So we're gonna do those first. As you notice your program, it states that. And then we'll get on our rhythmic journey. And then I'll try to walk us through what I mean by those things and why those songs are in those particular parts, because I'm sure they could be in any part, but I will explain my thoughts about that. And then we get to the final part, the story section. And so we will conclude with the story. We'll conclude with a healing song. Since that's really my focus today, I will get you all to do some healing sounds. And the 3 I work on the most is the Om, that Om sound, Om. Let's do an Om together. Let's just get us all tuned up. Let's see if we all can get that Om out. Let's take a deep breath here. Let's see if we can all get Om. Boy, I think you're ready. All right. See, wasn't that a good feeling? I think we need to do it one more time just to get us all centered, get our feet on the floor and just, getting our, everything in it. Let's hear that Om again. Om. Beautiful, beautiful. I think you know what I'm saying. So yes.
I'd like to ask you to speak more clearly.
Okay, I think I have this clip on. I hope I didn't turn it off. Okay, in the mic as well.
And then people who are listening on television can hear you. They can't hear you otherwise.
All right, thank you for that. Sometimes I think my voice carries so loudly, I'm scared to get in the mic like this, but thank you for reminding me to do that. I will, thank you. So the Om sound is very powerful, but I'll explain all those sounds at the end. We're gonna get into our program. So we start more for me, when I think about the journey and how people were brought out of Africa, it's usually was West Africa, even though a lot of places that were people were brought to the West Coast to leave the West Coast. A lot of the journey starts in the West Coast, and for Amanda and I, we have been lucky to travel to those places and a lot of places in Africa to try to understand those journeys. I think the first time I went to West Africa was 1981 to Nigeria. So we're going to try to make those contextual things with drums. Drums are a little loud, so we're going to try to not beat you up here with the loudness, but I do want you to hear us, and we'll sing chants. So the first one we're going to do is a chant from the Cameroon that we learned in our church. And let me make sure I give a shout out to our church, Sojourner Truth, and Reverend Kamal Hassan, that we're members in Richmond, California. So we'll start off with that song that we learned. It's called Di Mapula.
Bola ilobama soma ine dube Bola ilobama soma ine dube Bola ilobama soma ine dube
Yes, that means God is the creator of heaven and earth. Our next song, we need a little audience participation if you can help us with this. It's a song, again, out of West Africa. We remember doing this in Nigeria, but it comes from different places, and in your program, definitely put Liberia might be its original origin, but I think a lot of people in West Africa claim this song for their song. And a lot of times it's a children's song, or children come out and do this song, and it's a welcome song. So what we're going to do, because call and response is so vital when we think of music, there's a lot of key things with music that I will talk about. You know, we have the key aspects of the melody or the harmony of the music. But one of the key devices used, especially in West Africa a lot, to get the audience to participate, to make everything as one, is the call and response. So as we're going to call out Funga Lafia, you're going to respond by saying Ashe, Ashe. So let's try that. Funga Lafia.
Ashe, Ashe.
Funga Lafia.
Ashe, Ashe.
Funga
Ashe is a common thing. Sometimes in church we say amen after maybe the preacher or the choir sings. In West Africa they say ashe, so be it. So let it happen. So one more time, ashe. Ashe. Thank you, Asante Sana. So now we're going to move into our first part that I call the spirit section. And a lot of times when we think about the spirit, we think about a lot of the songs that we sing and probably that were sung maybe early on. As, you know, being an instructor of African American history, a lot of times I would tell my students about the Middle Passage, about maybe how people were gathered to the West Coast or to the coastlines of Africa, in particular West Africa, and they might have been moved to very certain regions to get to those areas. So I just want you to take this journey with us, and we're going to play a light rhythm under here that's a very significant rhythm. That's a 6/8 rhythm. And I had brought some shakers up here, egg shakers, you know, wanted you to keep us in the spirit and keep moving with us. So I'm not sure if you're able to get some, but if you want to come up and grab an egg, or maybe Kirsten wants to pass some out for those of you just want to shake along and just feel that energy of the rhythm, please do. Because, you know, sometimes the involvement, just like singing the Om or singing Ashe, it makes us all as one when we're all doing something together. And I want us to be connected that way. So I want you to make sounds, make noises, shake when you want to, and we'll deal with all those things, and I think it will make the process more enjoyable. So this is a song and that might have been first was saying probably in a different dialect when it was first done, but eventually it was put to some English words, and like I said, it has a strong 6/8 rhythm. If my drummers could play a light, soft 6/8 for us, and then I'll try to talk over that, and then Amanda will sing the song. But it really is about the journey that people made. And because they were brought over different parts of West Africa, right? You can shake along. You don't have to worry about where you're shaking. Just if you feel the moment to shake, just shake it. You know, whatever, just enjoy it. But when people were brought to the West Coast or the coastlines to be boarded these ships, maybe they were from different dialects, because there's like over 800 different dialects in the continent of Africa. And so when people gathered, they might have not knew how to speak each other's language, but they all felt a certain remorse. And it probably was a lot of moaning, huh, Troy? People was moaning. They're doing a lot of moaning and wondering if they ever see their mother. And a lot of times people were taken at very young ages. And so, and early on, probably was mostly all males that were taken. But as they got to these regions and people were boarded these ships in the bottom of the ship where it was cold and damp, and they were put pretty close together. And then people were feeling pretty low, pretty down, not sure how they got there, why they're here, where they're going, because a lot of times they didn't speak the language of the captives. So they didn't know really what was happening. They were feeling pretty sad, thinking they would never see their home again. But they still kept going. And maybe somebody, because they all had chains on and they were chained together so closely, maybe somebody started tapping out a little rhythm, that 6/8 that sound familiar. And even though people were feeling really sad and really low, they probably just, something woke up their spirit. They just start kind of moving with it, you know, and just feeling their energy. And a lot of times people would move with their shoulders or move whatever part of their bodies. And then they started moving. And people started hearing the beats. And then
like a
somebody started singing this song.
Child.
Right, and people felt a little more energetic and felt a little more about being
Sometimes I
alive.
feel
Yeah. Yes.
like a motherless
Oh.
child.
Mama. Oh.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. A long way from home. A long way from home. A long way from home. A long way from home.
Yes, a long ways from home. They traveled a long ways. The passage was very long, very enduring. Some didn't make it. Some didn't want to make it. They just jumped over ship when they were brought on top to stretch their legs. Sometimes they had people playing rhythms so they can dance and move their bodies. And some just jumped in the water because they didn't want to continue. They didn't know where they were being taken. They didn't know what was going to happen. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long ways from home. Yes, thank you. So that's the song that ties us into one of the great spiritual singers, one of the great gospel singers, Mahalia Jackson. But like I told you, that song probably had its original origin in West Africa somewhere, in a different language, in a different dialect. But that melody and that rhythm still lives on. Like so many of our songs, our folk songs and our traditional songs from our own motherlands, we still hear in the songs today. We still hear continue in our hearts. And a lot of times for us, we know what kind of moves us when we hear that song that we just really loved. It puts a smile on our face when we hear a certain song that reminds us of those memories, right, that we cherish so much. So whether those memories are sad or happy memories, the songs live in our hearts and they stay there. Yes, we want you to remember the songs and hopefully have a happy memory of this journey we're taking. So now we go into the anthems. We think of anthems Anthems is probably the most communal of any songs. And even though I don't think anybody as a composer, I'm a composer myself, starts out writing an anthem thinking, I'm gonna write an anthem for the people. It's probably not that easy. You're probably writing a song that really moves you, something that you're really feeling, the melody or the message. Sometimes the anthems for the Black experience is kind of maybe political, but it still has a strong story. It still has a strong lyric. And a lot of the rhythms, it's interesting, even in the songs that I'm gonna demonstrate, they have a certain feeling. And what we hear a lot, because 6/8 or 12/8 was really the distinctive sounds that Africans heard and used in their music. But although when we're here in America, most of the songs that we play in the radio, especially popular music, is in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, right? We hear music like that. But that's not always. So what happens in a lot of the songs from the Black experience, they kind of combine the 3 and the 4, right? And they give those both kind of contextualized feelings. 1, 2, 3, right? It's like, so I hear that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? On the other hand, I'm hearing that 2 or 4. So when you put those sounds together, it's a very interesting thing. But really, the songs, this first song we're gonna do is a very special song for us. It's called Nkosi Sikelele. And we had the privilege, Troy and Amanda and I, we had the privilege sometime back, Troy, I'm thinking that was the 80s. Was that the 90s? These dates started to get confusing to 92. Me when I think back. What was it?
I think maybe 92.
Oh, okay, 90. See, they're going to correct me. I know if I mess up on those dates. Forgive me on that. But it was a time Nelson Mandela was released from prison in South Africa. And he came to the Bay Area, particularly Oakland. And we were lucky enough to be in one of the choirs, or one of the main choirs that got to sing his country's anthem, Nkosi Sikelele. So we learned how to do this, and it's always been special. It was a song written by Enoch Sandilogo, and it was written, I think, in 1897. And like a lot of songs, were written for school children. You know, if we really find songs that's close to our heart and dear to us, usually we write them for the children, right? Because it's something about when the children sing songs, it's just so special. Those stories kind of continue. So this story was done, and probably the original language was Xhosa. Xhosa, I'm trying to get that click in there. Xhosa sound, that was a South African language. But originally, it was eventually put into English. So we're gonna sing a little bit of this song so you can hear how it goes and get the feeling here.
Nkosi Sikelele Afrika, Malubangoni Suzondo Wayo, Izwayenze Tandozo Yetu, Nkosi Sikelela, Tina Lusapo Wayo, Nkosi Sikelele Afrika, Malubongoni Suzondo Wayo, Zizwayen Tandozo Yetu, Nkosi Sikelela, Tina Lusapo Wayo, Wosamoya,
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 Wosamoya, oh. to,
Ambala.
away to
Maibuye.
Africa,
Maibuye.
Africa.
All right.
Thank you. So that's Nkosi Sikelele. Next song we're going to do is an anthem that most people in this country call the Black National Anthem. Maybe at one time it was called the Negro National Anthem. And it was written by what I call the original Johnson brothers. And it was written by Rosamond and James Weldon Johnson. And it was written around 1900s. And again, it was written for young people at first, and it really became popular in the HBCU, the Fisk University, and one of their first choirs that started performing these kind of spirituals and sharing these kind of stories through music all over the country, the Fisk Jubilee Singers. And then organization called the NAACP picked it up, and I think at the time James Weldon Johnson was the executive director of the NAACP, the National Advancement of Colored People, as they say, Association of Colored People. Let me get all the letters right. So this song was very important, and this definitely has that 3 against a 4 sound. And it just was very meaningful, and James Weldon wrote the lyrics as a poem. And eventually his brother Rosamond put it to music. And he said he didn't write it at all to be an anthem for the people or anything. He just wrote it because it was a song that just really kept ringing in his head and the words. But now it's pretty much sung all over the world, just like Nkosi Sikelele. Even though it's the origin of Nkosi is more South Africa, all through Africa they kind of use that as their anthem in different regions. And I would say the same about this song, Lift Every Voice and Sing. It's used all over the world to kind of take that presence. You know, we're in what they call Black History Month. So as we honor Black History Month, this song is sang at a lot of churches across the country, at a lot of gatherings, at a lot of ceremonies. So we would like to do it for you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory
I just want you to, I'm talking about this rhythm, and it has that cha, 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 right? Cha. Come on, clap with me.
Liberty, let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
I just had to give a little more of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of times when we talk about, being a musician, a lot of times when we talk about us ethnomusicologists or musicologists that we tend to lecture about music, it seems like it's always talked about just the lyrics, the story, the poetry. But I definitely want to talk to you more about the music aspect and how music is a strong connection to tell that story. So I wanted you to hear that when I'm talking about this 3 against 4, how you hear that 3 in music, and we don't hear that so much in music, and how it does give you a feeling of want to clap along and kind of sing along with it. So how the songs become anthems, right? They have to kind of go through the test of time. They have to be accepted by the people. They have to say something to the people that moves the people. And people start going, yeah. Now, sometimes songs, like the American National Anthem, could just be written and said, that's our anthem. But it's still, people have to accept it. So whether we're at ball games or ceremonies, when we all sing our anthems, it's a people's song, right? We all join in. We all feel connected to the song. So think about when you sing anthems. Maybe you know anthems from different places of the world. Maybe you know the Irish national anthem or the French national anthem. Think about the music. What's unique about the music? Is it just the words that we're connected to? Or is it the melody? Is it the rhythm? And how do those 3 things connect us to song? The melody is the line, is something usually we sing that's on top, right? The rhythm, we know we kind of clap to it, we kind of move to it, we want to dance with it or clap our hands to it, right? The harmony, wow, what's a word? Great word. It's sometimes the chords we play, or sometimes as the singers are singing in different notes. And it really says something about us. So most anthems are sang in harmony because it brings us together. It shows a togetherness. When people sing in harmony, that's really a closeness. And we just really love to hear our choirs sing in harmony. So we're going to do another song that's a lot of times I think people think of as an anthem too. It was probably one of the key songs that was used during the Civil Rights Movement. And it was a song written by Reverend Dr. Albert Tinsley, a Reverend minister. And I think he was a minister in Philadelphia. And he wrote this song, when did I think he wrote this song? I'm thinking he wrote the song about 1920s or something. I know he passed away in 1933, so he wrote the song somewhere in there, between the 20s and 30s. And it's been picked up by a lot of people, and it was probably used on the Civil Rights Trail when people would march and protest and do the walks through the South, and people would sing the song. And a lot of the leaders, like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, would say a song would move people more than sometimes even his sermon, right? And this song was really powerful. And, and I think even on those trails and those marches, people like Bob Dylan and people, some of the early folk singers, would sing and would join these civil rights leaders in marches and would sing, and they would add verses. So a lot of different people might have had their names tied to this song. But this is a very strong song, and we want to share it with you as well. And if you want to sing along, please do.
Please join us.
it.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
We'll walk hand in hand.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. Hand in hand someday. Whoa, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome.
We shall
Overcome someday.
All right, so that takes us to our rhythm section. And if we talk about rhythm, what person up here you think should talk about rhythm the most on stage? Who? That guy? That guy. Well, let's bring him up. This is Mr. Michael Spencer. Give him a hand.
The best way that I can get you guys to try to grab the concept of rhythm, first just let me say I have to fight. This is my 2 minutes of fame here. So I have to fight for this. And sometimes, but the best way for me to get you to understand this in context with what Doc has been telling you is that rhythm is a way that we communicate. You know, the drums is the way that we communicate. And that was something that was taken from us in the Middle Passage, like the ability to communicate and know who we were and where we were coming from and where we were going was taken from us. So we had to be resilient people and come up with ways of healing ourselves and our communities in bondage and captivity. And one of the ways that I exemplify that to people and show people, that's my teacher, and so I teach as well, is just sequencing numbers. So when you think about 4 and 3, you got to come to 3 before you get to 4. So in between 3 and 4, there's some things that happen. Like, so you think of 1, 2, 3, and 4. 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 Okay, so that's how we're going to interpret 4, and I'm going to get you to see how it's a thing called hand jive, right? So we didn't have our drums, so we just had to make noises, moans. We had to do mantras, create positive affirmations, and tell ourselves over and over for our mental health that everything was going to be all right. So there's a call and response called the ham bone. This hand jive came through, it's from slavery, arrived in New Orleans, in the bayou, and it's called the ham bone. So in the ham bone, it's basically a call and response. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. One more ham bone, where you been? Round the world and back again. One more move when you get back. I'm gonna buy me a Cadillac. If that Cadillac don't shine,
Maybe I should be calling him Doctor. Dr. Michael Spencer. Yes, that's the ham bone. Now we're going to go on because rhythm was very important in our journey. And so a lot of it when as Africans, as enslaved Africans, they worked in the fields and they had songs that they would sing, and these songs were called work songs. And sometimes we'd be working and it kept everything movement. So we're going to do one of the work songs for you.
Oh, don't you know that's the sound of the man working on the chain? Ha. Gang.
Come on.
Oh, don't you know
That's the sound of the man working
working
on the train. Gang. That's the sound of the man working on the train.
gang? Oh, don't you know
That's the sound of the man working on the train.
gang?
All day long they're saying, oh, oh, ha,
Oh, don't you know
that's the sound of the man working on the train.
gang? Oh, don't you know
That's the sound of the man working on the train.
Gang. All right, so that's a work song. All right. So our next selection is a blues. Now, a lot of people say, well, blues is a story. It tells a story. We put it in the rhythm section because the pattern of the blues really set off all American popular music. It's no popular music in America that hasn't been affected by the blues. And the blues, because it's very interesting, it took a 12-bar pattern, right? 12 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. 12-bar pattern in a loop, in a cycle, with 3 distinctive chords. The dominant chord, the subdominant, right? I mean, the root chord, the subdominant, and the dominant chord, the 1, the 4, and the 5, right? And they took that and was able to tell stories. A lot of times these stories were told on the porches, in the backwoods of Mississippi or Georgia as people labored all day, and then they were brought to the clubs by the female singers. But this song we're going to do is Stormy Monday. It was written by T-Bone Walker, who was a guitarist and singer who influenced people like B.B. King.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Can you turn my mic up? Yeah. All right. Can y'all hear me? All right. The song says, they call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday is just as bad. Ooh, they call it Stormy Monday, yeah. But Tuesday is just as bad. Uh-huh. Wednesday Tuesday's worse than Lord, Thursday is also sad. Ooh, they tell me the eagle flies on Friday, but Saturday it goes out to play. Ooh, they say the eagle flies, it flies, it flies, flies on a Friday, but Saturday it goes out to play. Hey, but every Sunday I drop down on my knees and I pray. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Troy Marshall, give him a big hand. Troy Marshall. Yeah, this moves us into our story. I'm trying to keep my eye on this time. Always goes faster than I can get to. So we're on our story section, pretty much our last part. And we start off with the jazz. And this is a very important song. All these, we picked songs that really were very instrumental in telling our story, and songs I talked about in my book. So we're going to let Amanda tell. This is my wife, Amanda Elliott. She's going to tell this story, Strange Fruit.
This is a song that was made popular by one of the great jazz singers of all time, Billie Holiday. And it's a song, it's a sad song, but it was a song that needed to be told, a story that needed to be told about the southern breeze and the strange fruit hanging from those trees and the lynching that happened during those times in the South. Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on leaves and blood at the root, black body swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eye and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet, fresh, then sudden smell of burning flesh. fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to sow, for the sun to rise, for the trees to dry. He is a strange and bitter cry.
Yes. They say jazz is a strange fruit. That was a powerful song that Billie Holiday used to close each of her sets. Even though she was told, if you do that song in this club, we're going to arrest you, she still sang that song. That song, Abel Marable wrote that. And his wife was the first to sing that at Madison Square Garden. He was a Jewish gentleman, and his wife was a black person, African American, Laura Duncan. And she was first to sing that, but it went on to be one of the top greatest songs in the American Songbook. We would like to continue with that songbook and talk about this next song. It was written by someone coming out of the church. His father was a minister. He went on, when he started singing popular music, he actually added an E to his last name to kind of take some, put some distance between him and the church, but I don't think his sound pretty much changed. At the time, most singers had a gruggly sound and more when they would sing, but he had a high tenor, kind of a first tenor voice, and very light, and he went on to sing some very classic. But one of his greatest songs was this one, A Change Is Gonna Come. And it really didn't make it as a hit until he died, almost several days later. So we're going to do this joy, and we're going to make this a medley and tie into another great song that Marvin Gaye wrote, and actually was written by a member of the Four Tops about something he witnessed when he came to Berkeley, right here in California, Berkeley City Park, People's Park. He witnessed police beating up some people that were protesting in the park, and the guy wrote this kind of song, like, what's happening here? And he wrote it about that day, and later on he gave it to Marvin Gaye, that made it a big hit.
I was born by the river in a little old tent. Lord have mercy. And just like that river, I've been running ever since. And it's been a long time coming, yeah. But I know, and I know, my change is gonna come. See, it's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. Because, see, I don't know what's up there beyond that bleak blue sky, and it's been a long, a long time coming, yeah. But I know and I know my change is gonna come, yeah. Oh,
Mother,
mother, mother,
there's far too many of you crying.
of you dying.
You know we've got to find a way.
Got to find a way
to bring some love in here today. And brother,
brother.
there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way.
Got to find a way
to bring some love in here today. Mother,
I was born by the
there's
river
far too many of you crying.
in a little old tin yard.
You know we've got to find a way
Just like that river,
to bring some love in
I've
here
been running
today.
ever since, and it's been a long
And brother,
too hard living,
there's far too many of you
but
dying.
I'm afraid to die.
You know we've got to find a way
'Cause I don't know,
to bring
yeah,
some love in
what's
here
beyond that
today.
big blue sky, yeah.
Picket line
Brother,
and picket signs.
sister,
Don't punish me with
brother,
brutality.
sister,
Talk to me
brother.
so we can see
Oh,
what's going on.
what's going on?
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 Yeah. Ooh.
What's going on?
All right, we're trying to run through it. Didn't want to keep you too long, but still wanted to tell this story for you. I think those are so meaningful songs that came out 60s and 70s, and really, again, the 1968 and a lot of the movements and things that happened in America with black people moving to kind of a lot of the protests and things that happened earlier in the 50s and early 60s about the civil rights kind of took on a different thing in the Black Power movement of the late 60s and 70s. And then that transpired to other things. I would like to end this kind of telling this story with a poem that I wrote that kind of hopefully sums it up, if you can hear what I'm trying to say in this poem. And I call it The African Influence on Music. And it says, ring, ring the beat. Ring, ring the beat. Ring, ring the beat. Ring, ring the beat. Out beneath the form comes the distinguishable sound of Africa. Yes, ring, ring the beat. Biddy-a-boom, biddy-a-boom, biddy-a-boom. It's everywhere I go. It's in everything I do. I think it's following me. Hey, wait. It must be who I am. Yes, that's it. Music is our spirit. It speaks life to our existence. We need it to grow. It helps to translate the pain and hate into the sounds of joy and release. You see, it started a long time ago. Maybe in a field or next to a stream. Maybe while listening to the birds or monkey screams. I wonder who really knows. It came with us from Africa across the Middle Passage. fused with many different dialects but determined to lift us up. It provided the necessary rhythm under our feet to keep our bodies moving and our hearts a beating. We heard it in the fields when people cried out, "Ho!" We heard it in the evenings and maybe too on Sundays when we bowed our heads to say, "Amen." You see, sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long ways from home. Ring, ring the beat. Biddy-a-boom, biddy-a-boom, ring, ring the beat, biddy-a-boom. You see, we sang the blues not to feel sad, but to find joy in the pain. Yes, we sang the blues not to feel sad, but to find joy in the pain. Did Robert Johnson sell his soul to the devil, or was the devil the one who stole Robert? Jazz is an act of discharging one's emotional channels into others' passageways of life's rendering cycles. Pops, Duke, Bird, Monk, Diz, Miles, and Train. Can you say that again? Pops, Duke, Bird, Monk, Diz, Miles, and Train. What? Pops, Duke, Bird, Monk, Diz, Miles, and Train. Ring, ring the beat, y'all. Biddy-a-boom, biddy-a-boom. Ring, ring the beat. Biddy-a-boom. It's in the country sounds. Yes, it's even in James Brown. Well, the young folks got it too. It's in the griot, jolly, speaking much game, allowing others to follow, but not forgetting where he came. Motown is still around, and I can still hear Aretha Franklin sing R-E-S-P-E-C-T. But respect is hard to get when all I hear is not your time yet. When will we be able to run what is ours? Our sacred messages should be heard. We need to shake, stomp, and rise higher. So I want you to ring, ring the beat. Ring, ring the beat. Ring, ring the beat. Biddy, biddy, boom. So here we're at the end, our last song. Yes, I see the clock moving faster than I'm moving. But I'm moving a little slow these days, but I hope you understand. We're trying to get to the finish line the best way we can. And hopefully I didn't keep you too long. But we want to end it with our healing song, because I want you to leave with a healing. And if I can bless you with anything besides the story I shared and the music that we gave you, I want you to remember the healing sounds of the Om, the shu. So the Om is the universal sound. It probably was the sound at the beginning and maybe the sound at the end. It was the sound between the planets, right? So powerful. The shu, 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 right? Shu is our breath. It's the wind. Some say it's the spirit. And Ra, when we think of these sounds from the Kemetic sounds, what people call Egypt, the Ra is that sun, is that energy, right? That powerful force. And a lot of the gods in Kemet were called Amun-Ra or Ra, connected to their names. So we're going to do the Om, Shu, Ra. So we're going to start off like we start off the whole thing with that Om sound. So let me let you get your deep breath. Let's make that deep breath. Let's say that Om. Om Shu Ra. We're going to add those other two. Om Shu Ra. Everybody saying after me. Say it. Om Shu Ra. You say.
Om Shu Ra.
One more time. I say, Om Shu Ra. You say,
Om Shu Ra.
with the Spirit, soothing sounds in my ear, healing in nature's fortress, when sun and moisture appear. Om Shura, vibrating frequency, buzzing my body, capitulating rhythm
Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I say Om Shura. Everybody say it. Come on.
Om Shura.
One more time. I say Om Shura.
Om Shura. Melody telling my story,
So unimaginable.
revealing all my secrets,
Heart light as a feather. I say Om Shura.
Om Shura.
Om Shura.
Om Shura. Om Shura.
Om Shura. We're going to close on this moment. We thank you so much for joining us. Hope you heard our story. Hope you can take it with you and take this healing song and keep singing the sounds that tune our bodies, the sounds that make us who we are, sounds that we need to heal. We need to understand who we are. So the Om, the Shura. So all together we'll say without the instruments, Om Shura. Last time we say Om Shura. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Dr. Terrence Elliott. And would you mind introducing your ensemble again?
Yes, we'll start over. I didn't turn the mic off. We'll start over here with our bass player. Get to the mic,
Wait.
but we value him just the same. He was one of my students early on. It seemed like everybody was. But here, the incredible Richard Ford on bass. Quite a musician. He plays all the instruments up here. He plays the piano probably better than I do and the drums. But give him another hand, Richard Ford. Our rhythm master, right. The doctor, he's trying to get that PhD next to his name as well. Michael Spencer. His father was my college teacher. All right, over my far left over here, guy that's been with me quite some time. We call him T. Roy, but his name is Troy Marshall. Give him a big hand. Troy Marshall, vocalist extraordinaire. And my wife, who keeps me always in check, tells me when I'm going too long, when I'm doing not the right thing, or maybe she gives me encouragement and said that was a good job. See, the pat on the back, you saw that? My wife, the beautiful Amanda Elliott. And again, I'm Terrence Elliott. And, you know, some of you asked our address. We can give that to you, but, you know, we're in Richmond, so we'll share that with you. I'm going to be in the lobby area.
In the lounge.
In the lounge.
Yes, make sure that you all come and join, have a chance to gather together and greet the members of the music ensemble. And we thank you so much, and we were benefited by the extra 15 minutes. Believe me, no one minded. So thank you for your generosity. And they will have, in the lounge, they will have, at the newspaper table, they will have some items to purchase. So I'm sure that you will all want to see them there. Again, for coming, and thanks to all of those of you who listened at home.